Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to AJ103 Criminal Evidence. My name is Tony Farrar, and I am your instructor for this semester. A little bit of background about myself. I have over 34 years in law enforcement, retiring in December of 2015 as the Chief of Police for the Rialto Police Department in San Bernardino County. My education consists of a master's degree in police administration, a master's degree in business administration, and a master's degree in criminology and police management from the University of Cambridge Institute of Criminology in England. Now, my goal for this semester is to make this class as enjoyable as possible, but also to have you learn as much about policing as you can, the career choice that I hope each of you pursue. Now, before we move on to the syllabus review, I thought we could reflect back on summertime and look at this wonderful photo of a beach in the Bahamas where not too long ago I had the opportunity to visit, and it was extremely relaxing, and it reminds me about summertime. And although we're getting ready to get pumped up and move into the fall semester of college, I thought it would be great to kind of reflect back on this nice, relaxing photograph for just a moment. Now on to some different things. Let's look at the syllabus. So we're going to take a peek at the syllabus and basically go through it in detail so you understand some of the expectations and things that are going to be kind of thrust upon you during the course, if you will. So the course name is Criminal Evidence. It's AJ103. The section number is 4404, and it is fall of 2017. It is the online course. There's some information about myself there. I am now located at the Menifee campus as opposed to the San Jacinto campus last semester. I do not have a phone number and office number yet, and as soon as I get that information, I will send it out to everybody. I have email, which is listed here, which is the best way to get a hold of me. I also have a Twitter account if you are into that. If you want more information on the Criminal Justice Club, you can check out our Facebook, and I have a link located there. And if you need more information on the CTE program itself, there's a link to the CTE website. My office hours for online and even online, I guess. I'm on, again, the Menifee campus. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll be in the office available from 12:30 to 1:45, and then again from 3:30 to 4:45. Online courses, I will be available Wednesday evenings and Thursday evenings from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. If you are going to email me, please use the header as the example is shown right here, AJ103-4404 Criminal Evidence. That helps me figure out what class you're in. I have 8 classes this semester, and it is very difficult to keep track of every student and which class they might be in. So please, if you do that, it'll make my ability to get back to you quicker a lot easier, if you will. And anything that you have to write or upload, like your midterm essay or extra credit or what have you, please do it on Microsoft Word, because if you do it in another word processor format like WordPerfect or something else, I may not be able to open it, and it just makes things more difficult. So for consistency's sake, let's all use Microsoft Word, and it'll make it a lot simpler. Now, a note here, the syllabus, of course, is a living document subject to change during the semester, and you will be made aware of any changes when they occur in the form of an email or announcement via Canvas. So please monitor Canvas closely. I really want you to log on and look at Canvas at least twice a week. So if you could do that, that would be great. Again, if you have any questions about the course, you can email me. And I'll discuss in a minute that I will have a general discussion board for basic questions as well. I would suggest that you print out a hard copy of this for your reference and keep it in an area where you typically do your work or what have you, because then you can refer to it, because ultimately you're responsible to know when test dates are, quizzes are, when your term paper is due, and things like that. And this will really help you as a reference tool. I will send you reminders to the best of my ability, but at the end of the day, it is, of course, your responsibility. The course description. This course provides knowledge and theory regarding criminal evidence as it relates to the criminal justice system and the use of criminal evidence in criminal cases and the basic rules of evidence in both state and federal court. Now, there's a lot of information, and there's some awesome case laws in there, and we're going to talk about a lot of this, so we have a lot to cover. So the book is very important in order to add context, and I'll explain what that means in just a few more minutes. So the textbook that we're going to be looking at or using is going to be Criminal Evidence 8th edition, published in 2014. The publisher is Cengage Learning. The ISBN number is listed there, and I also have a picture of it if you need it. The California Penal Code is optional. It's not a primary book. I will refer to it from time to time, but honestly, you can access the Penal Code online, and it'll help you as we discuss some of the codes and go through some of the things. And there's a link here, legalinfo.ca.gov, that you can go to access the Penal Code. So the guidelines of the course, this is going to be a fast-paced course. We're going to move through a lot of information. You're going to have a lot of reading that's going to be given to you weekly. And I need you to keep up with the readings. Don't rely entirely on the PowerPoints or the audio lecture, because I will do audio lectures with the PowerPoints as well, to get through the class. You're going to need the book. And the reason you need the book is you need to add some context to the definitions that we're talking about. It's easy for us to just memorize. We can memorize case laws, we can memorize definitions, but if you want to be able to apply it, you have to help me fill in the holes, that missing context. And reading the textbook will help you apply those case laws as it relates to the criminal justice system, or apply the definitions to whatever the subject matter is that we're talking about. So please, the book is really going to be very, very important for this class. If you have a problem with the concept as we're discussing it or what have you, let me know, and I can discuss it over, in Canvas in the general discussion area. Or if you don't want to post the question on the general discussion area, you can send me an email. But I will have a separate discussion post just for questions. And either myself or another student, if they know the answer, can join in and answer whatever question that might be there. So what are the course expectations? Well, you're going to be expected to participate and complete a variety of things. The first one being reading the required materials, PowerPoints, lecture notes, articles, and the textbook chapters. I know, super important. Number two, viewing the weekly videos relating to each chapter. PowerPoints with audio and case study videos, because these are going to help you add context to what we're talking about. Three, participating in thoughtful and timely discussions via the discussion board. There's going to be 4 discussion boards. The first one is actually some information about you and the check-in as well. And if you haven't done that, you need to go back and do that. Everyone should have checked in. This class opened basically 5 days before the actual official starting date, and you should have already checked in. If you haven't, you could be subject to being dropped. So please make sure that you get the check-in part done. So participating in those thoughtful and timely discussions, and there are going to be some really cool topics that we're going to talk about. So thoughtful means don't just say, yeah, I agree. Tell me what you think. And timely means within the time frame, because those discussion boards are going to open and close, and there's going to be a time frame. 4, completing online and timed quizzes. That's self-explanatory. 5, completing online and timed exams. And then the last one, completing the midterm writing assignment, and don't panic on that. I'll talk more about the writing assignment in a little bit. Now, failure to participate in the discussion boards, if you miss quizzes, exams, or you don't turn in assignments, you have the possibility of course, being dropped from the course. If you're not sure about online classes and maybe your readiness, click on the link here and it'll take you to some video tutorials and some other information that will help you decide, hey, am I ready for an online class? Keep in mind, I will send out reminders on certain things, but ultimately it's your responsibility to keep up with what's going on and to make sure that you're up to speed on due dates and things like that. So back to the discussion boards. There's going to be a total of 4, the first of which is a survey and check-in at the beginning of class, and you should have already done that. The discussions will be on relevant topics relating to law enforcement or the courts. Now, while these discussions are not given letter grades, they're means whereby I can gauge your ability to interact with others, interact with me, and to see if you're grasping some of the theories that might be out there and some of the topics that we're going to talk about. So, while they're not graded with a letter grade, they are required, which means you have to do them, and they are given a credit, no credit. So, if you don't complete one of these discussion boards, it's just like not turning in an assignment. So again, and if you miss a couple of assignments, you're subject to being dropped from the class, okay? Technology, this is important because you are responsible for your computer equipment, internet connection, etc., independent of the campus. So that means you're going to need to plan your coursework to be able to accommodate any type of computer problems. Now, these problems that you might have are not going to be the grounds for me relaxing the deadlines. If you're unsure whether something has gone through, it's your responsibility to find an alternative means of providing or completing that assignment, or get with me, communicate with me, and we'll try to work together on fixing whatever issue you have. I would highly suggest that you don't wait until a half an hour before the week module closes and try to do your assignment, and then you have a computer problem and you run out of time. Because again, at the end of the day, that's going to be your problem that you need to fix, not mine, because you waited too late. Okay, so that's part of the online learning thing, is you have to be able to self-regulate your time. Next, some of the important functions of Canvas, because it's different. We were using Blackboard before. There's a few changes. Now we're on Canvas, so if you've taken one of my online classes before, I used to put everything in folders and title them by weeks. Now I put them in modules, and they're titled by week. So modules, this is where your weekly assignments will be located, and I'm going to title each module so you're going to know exactly which week that information is for. Example, Module 1 is going to be titled Week 1. And week 1 will contain all of the assignments necessary for week 1. And that could be audio lectures, PowerPoints, links to videos, articles, exams, quizzes, etc. The goal here is for you to be able to kind of find everything in each weekly module so you don't have to search around for it. The next important part is discussions. This is where group discussions will occur on various topics. And I'm also going to have a discussion board again for general questions as well. And I may post links to videos, articles, or other things I want you to watch as part of the discussion board process. So keep your eyes open for that. Announcements, this is pretty self-explanatory. This is where you're going to find announcements for the class, including relevant information on any changes to exams, quizzes, or other upcoming information that I think you need to know about. The grade book, that's where your grades are going to be. So because it's an online class, a quiz or a chapter exam, once you finish that, the grade will populate immediately. Written assignments that you have to upload, it's going to take me a few days to grade them, so be patient, but check your grade book periodically to make sure that you see a grade in there after you do something. Now, when it comes to tests and things like that, if you happen to be taking a quiz, which is only 10 questions, or the chapter exam, which is 50 questions, okay? If you see a question that really might be either wrong, or there's some big time spelling errors, or something just isn't right about it. Now that doesn't mean just because you don't know the answer, but if there's an issue with a question, send me an email and I will look it up. And if I made a mistake, which I've done from time to time, I will fix the mistake and thank you for your help in advance. And I will credit you with whatever points that you need to be credited, or credit everybody else if they happen to miss the same question. So we can kind of help each other with that. Last is the extra credit module. This is an area where you can find extra credit. Now, don't bank on extra credit because we don't always offer it, but I am offering it this time. So you can get up to 15 extra points just for this particular assignment I'm talking about. There may be opportunities for other assignments and there may not be. So again, try to keep up to speed on all of your quizzes and tests so you don't need the extra credit, but it should be available. And one thing of note, extra credit is very date specific. So, and I'll show you when we go through the actual schedule, it'll open at a certain time and close at a certain time, and you have to do the extra credit assignment during that time period. And more to follow on that. So the instructional methods, I'll kind of let you look at that at your leisure, the academic support, code of conduct. Because this is an online class, I added an area in here about etiquette, or what we call netiquette, which is basically etiquette of the internet or cyberspace. And basically it's a set of rules for behaving properly online, and you can click on the link there and go look at it if you want. But in a nutshell, really all I'm asking is just understand when we have discussion boards and things like that, that we are to respect everyone's opinion. We are all different. For the most part, we think differently about different things. Some of the topics are very intriguing, and people may think this way or that way about them. But at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is have a good discussion about it and learn something from it. So let's be very respectful and understanding of information that people post, because we all want others to be the same with us. Here are some, right here, some websites for some case law information if you need to look up some case laws or what have you. And now the fun part, exams and quizzes. So the quiz and exam questions are going to come directly from the textbook, lectures, or designated articles or videos that I post, and I'll let you know. Each week, you're going to have a reading assignment, a lecture, and a short quiz, a 10-question quiz, basically, covering the corresponding chapter. In addition, there'll be 3 chapter exams, 4 discussion boards, one of which is your check-in, the survey and check-in, which you should have done already, and then a midterm writing assignment that I'll talk a little bit about in a few minutes. The dates of the quizzes, exams, and final, and etc. are on the syllabus. Now, all lectures, PowerPoints, quizzes, exams, discussion information, etc., they're going to open up and be available on Wednesday nights at 5 o'clock. All assignments are due by the following Tuesday night at 11 p.m. So, as an example to kind of help you understand that, because I know that sometimes it gets kind of a little weird, here's an example. Class officially opens for us, even though you should have already checked in like 4 or 5 days ahead of time. It's going to open on Wednesday, August 16th at 5 p.m. That's when week 1 becomes viewable and available to you. Okay, so you're going to have 1 week, or until Tuesday, August 22nd at 11 p.m. to complete all of the week 1 assignments, and hopefully that makes sense. You have like 6 days, 6 to 7 days, but yeah, 6, I guess. Anyway, and because of that, there are no makeups for this stuff. So make sure you keep track of due dates and things like that. And again, I'm going to do my best to remind you of due dates and other information, but it's your responsibility to know it, okay? So also of note, on the weeks that you have chapter exams, and pretty much that's, you know, you'll have that little 10-question chapter exam every week. When you have your quizzes, I'm sorry, you'll have a short quiz every single week of 10 questions. But on the days or the week that falls your chapter exams, and there's 3 chapter exams, you're still going to have the quiz. And I'll show you what that looks like. And the reason for the chapter exams is those are like little study guides for you. It also shows me you're alive out there and you're still participating in the class, because I can see that you're getting your quizzes done. Secret, if you do well on the quizzes, you're going to do pretty well on the chapter exam. So make sure that you study hard for the quizzes. Don't just blow them off and log on and try to think you can kind of move through them really quick without getting them done. And these are timed. So you get 20 minutes for your 10-question quiz, which is plenty, and 75 minutes, which is a lot of time for your chapter exams. Grading system. So here's the grading system that you can see. You go by points. This course, we'll look down here, Chapter 1 exam is 50 points. 2 is 50 points. 3, which is your final, is 50 points. And if you notice, your final is not cumulative, meaning it doesn't include anything from chapter 1 and 2. So it's just that whatever chapters fall into chapter exam 3. Your midterm paper is 30 points. Your quizzes, which means there's 15 of them, kind of one every week or so. 10 questions or 10 points per quiz, so you have 150. So your total possible points is 330. And then here you can see you will have an extra credit assignment, probably 15 points or so. Important dates, I have some important dates for you to remember listed here. So your written assignment. So in Canvas, and I'm going to show you this in a few minutes, I have put some information in Canvas about your written assignment. There'll be a narrated PowerPoint, basically a lecture, an audio lecture where I'll talk about how to write your paper. And I'll give you examples on how to cite and how to make a reference page and things like that. So that is there. I'll also have just a regular PowerPoint of that. So if you don't want to hear my voice, you can just go through the PowerPoint. I also wrote a paper on how to write a paper, and that's posted as well. So you'll get some different options to help you. And as we go through the semester, I'll give you some other helpful hints on that as well. Your written assignment, basically, oh, and also here you'll see that I did post what they call a rubric, which tells you what I'm looking for as far as grading goes. I am looking more for content than anything else, but there is a rubric which kind of shows that. Now, the written assignment, your midterm paper, is going to be on the Supreme Court of the United States, Mapp versus Ohio. So it's a case law. And what I'm asking for is this information right here. So the issue, the facts, the findings, the rationale, and your opinion. And all of the specs referenced the paper are listed in here. I'm not going to go through them all because I go through them on the narrated PowerPoint, but you can see the information that's listed here. Plagiarism, copying even a part of a sentence from a text article or news story without acknowledging the source or quoting, okay, is plagiarism. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this. All of you know what this is. If you didn't think of it yourself or it's not common knowledge, you should cite it. And if in doubt, cite it. You can't get in trouble for oversighting. And again, that video that I posted will help you understand what it means to do your in-text citations and things like that. And read the syllabus again so you really understand it. So now let's look at the weeks, and I'll show you how, what comes due per week and how you can kind of manage this. So week 1, which we're in now, would be course information, expectations, syllabus review, assignments, chapter exams, quizzes. We're covering all of this information in week 1. Okay. Week 2 will open on August 23rd at 5 p.m. That's a Wednesday. And I don't know if you have a calendar in front of you or whatever, but if it opens on the 23rd Wednesday at 5, it's going to close the following Tuesday, which would be the 29th at 11 p.m. Okay, the day before this day here. So you have 1 week to do this. So there's really no reason that you can't get this done, but don't push it off to the last minute. You have to study in order to pass these quizzes. So they're not super hard, but they're not easy either, okay? So week 2, we'll be doing chapter 1, Introduction to Criminal Evidence. You'll have a PowerPoint lecture and maybe some videos to watch or a link to an article, and you'll take the weekly quiz number 1. Does that make sense? And this quiz will be on this chapter right here. Now, as you get further down, they may not match up because we do skip a couple. Like if you look right here at week 10, okay, week 10 is actually going to be chapter 9, but it's still, okay, the weekly quiz number 9. So the quizzes, but it should correspond. These correspond, not necessarily the weeks. Weekly quiz number 9 will cover chapter 9. Okay, so just kind of like that. Keep an eye on this though. Look, we're going to skip a couple chapters because we're not going to be able to get every chapter done through the book. So week 11 will be chapter 11, okay, but it's only weekly quiz number 10. So just understand, but it's all in the same module, and I'll show you what it looks like to get you to understand it. So let's walk through these. Let's walk through 5 real quick so you can so you get it. Week 2, this is what you have to do. Week 3, you do this. Week 4, you're going to do this. Now week 5, we've added something. So week 5 is going to cover chapter 4, types of evidence. We're going to do the PowerPoint and lecture. We're going to do weekly quiz number 4, okay, which will be on this. And then we're going to do discussion board number 2. So you already did discussion board 1. Now we're going to do discussion board 2. So you will look in the module, or you can go to discussions and you click on discussion board. It will give you the topic. You're going to write your awesome, thoughtful, timely stuff. And there you go. So week 6, here's an example of where you have a couple things to do. Okay. So week 6, it's going to open what time? 5 o'clock on September 20th, which is Wednesday. You're going to do chapter 5. It's going to be direct and circumstantial evidence. There's a PowerPoint lecture. This is the chapter that you're going to read in your book, because I know you got your book. You're going to take your weekly quiz, which is going to be on chapter 5, and then you're going to do your first chapter exam. So you have 2 separate exams here. A short 10 questioner. You want to take this one first, because that'll help you for this one down here, because you're going to do chapters 1 through 5. Should make sense. And then it'll repeat itself. So again, you'll see here, 1 quiz here, 1 quiz here, 1 quiz here. Oops, discussion board. Okay. Then here, you'll have chapter 11. You'll take your weekly quiz, number 10, which covers this. And then you'll have your second chapter exam. You see how that works? Down here, week 12 is when your midterm writing assignment is due. So you should be following along. It should be coming a little bit easier now. One last note before we finish. Week 15, Thanksgiving week. Okay, November 22nd. Now, typically, there's nothing for you to do. There's no assignments. There's no PowerPoints. There's no lectures. There's no nothing. But your extra credit assignment is here. So if you want a possibility of 15 extra points, you do it during this week. It won't take you very long. Once you look at it, you'll go to the extra credit module, and I'll show you where it is in a minute, and you'll be able to find out what the assignment is. So this opens up on November 22nd, Wednesday at 5 o'clock p.m. and will close on November 28th, day before, Tuesday, at 11 p.m. That assignment needs to be turned in those 6 days. And finally, at the very end, week 18, just keep, and I'll remind you as we get closer, you don't get a whole week for your final. You're going to have to do it between the 13th and the 15th. So, and I may even open it up a little bit earlier, but you've got 3 days to do your final right here. Okay? So hopefully you kind of, that clears a lot of things up with the syllabus. Now I wanted to go here for a second, and I'm not done building this class yet, but I wanted you to kind of see what it looks like. So I'm going to click on this class and let you kind of take a peek at what this looks like. And let me move this over here so you can see on the screen. So this is the home page, and I tell a little bit about myself. Oh, look, there I am, in case you're wondering what I'm look like. Here's a little recruitment video, which is really cool. I hope you like it. Assignments, discussions, grades. So when you go down to modules, okay, and while this is the instructor view, your view is going to look somewhat similar. So here I have important information. This is something you should read before you start doing anything. Your midterm essay, okay, which opens up the day class starts. Here's the link to upload your essay and gives you the topic and what it's about, etc., but it's in the syllabus. Here's an audio version of the APA PowerPoint that I talked about. Here's just the PowerPoint slides, an example paper, the writing rubric, and then a little instructional guide on how to upload your paper. Now remember I talked about modules where in Blackboard it was folders titled Week 1. Well, this is the same thing in essence. It's just a module right here titled Week 1. So everything in Week 1 needs to be done in Week 1. So course overview, you could click on that. You have your discussion board check-in. So that should be done. So that should be pretty simple, and that should already be done. Here I have a Bill of Rights PowerPoint, and I have a PDF version of the same PowerPoint, whichever you prefer to look at. But the Bill of Rights are very important, so I want you to review one of these two. And then I have 4 or 5 videos on our court system. And yeah, those videos might be a little bit boring or whatever, but they are a reference to our court system, and I think it's a good idea that you understand the court system and how it functions in order to kind of help you move through the course. So you can look here. So again, this is week 1. So this is everything you need to do in week 1. Week 2, once I put it in, will look like week 1. So you just go from week to week to week. And hopefully that kind of makes sense a little bit for you, okay? Discussion boards, like I talked about, they'll be listed in here, and there's dates when they open and close. But again, and then here's like the general question discussion board I talked about, where you can ask general questions if you have some questions. So hopefully that kind of helps give you just a little bit of an understanding on what the class kind of looks like. And this syllabus review was hopefully enlightening to you, and you have a better understanding about what's going on. I send out quite a bit of messages, so again, monitor your Canvas announcements, because I will send out a lot of information. And then finally, just because you are in an online class doesn't mean that you can't participate in any hands-on things that might be going, or guest speakers I have in face-to-face classes. So I will typically send out announcements to all my classes, to all the students, that if you want to come see a certain person speak about canines or narcotics, or last year we did like a hands-on DNA lab. If you want to participate in those things, I will make sure that you get the information so you can show up on whatever campus the event is being held on and participate in those as well. So with that being said, good luck to everyone. Welcome again to AJ103, Criminal Evidence Online. And I will be again sending out more information shortly as we start to kind of move into the semester. So that's it for now, and I will talk to you soon.